Alright. So, let's see if we can't just aim this thing appropriately, because I don't have a good tripod for it yet. So, figured I'm going to shoot a new intro for my little video, because, let's be honest, I might be able to edit bits of it out, but yeah, last set of videos aged kind of poorly in their prediction of when this would all be done. I'll tell you what happened. As I was planning on building a wall, like from about there to there, and just go straight across and have this nice enclosed section, but the wife made a request. She doesn't really like the idea of an enclosed space like that in a basement. Which, you know, isn't really too bad to me, because I am willing to share my little shop with with the loved ones and everything. So I'll give you the quick tour, the sort of intro, and then I'll get back to showing how I went from that silver piece to where are we at now? Come on, there we go. To well, to this, and if I just take that, hopefully it doesn't give me too much trouble. Don't press the wrong buttons. See that right there? So there you go. So let's, can this thing, let's see, is this touchscreen? Nope. Does this allow me to zoom in better? Nah. I'm still getting used to this camera. Maybe I should actually read the darn RTFM, you know? But we'll see. So yeah, this is how I ended up. I think I did pretty good. Yeah, I have plans for something to happen right there. And that's neither here nor there. Alright. With that, selfie with a proper camera, and quick pan out to the shop. Alright, with that said, I'm gonna get to editing some of that footage. Enjoy. Yay! We did it! It's silver! Needs a lot of details added, but a lot of that compartment's gonna be that silver color. Because, well, I don't think they'd paint the inside of coal bunkers. I wouldn't waste paint there. Yeah, I really wouldn't. I'd go for one of them quote-unquote stainless steels if I had access to it. Although, I wouldn't be surprised to find that this ship must have had like sacrificial anodes or something somewhere. That's my guess. I don't know for sure. Any historians in the house want to totally contradict me or confirm? I have a book, but I can't be bothered to read it. Maybe I should. I might say, I don't know. But, yeah. So now, the question is, what other colors do I paint? Well, for those of you who are new here, I actually did some research. You see this green that I've picked, right? I didn't actually pull the use of the green color, mainly, out of my ass. The brown, the blue, those I pulled out of my ass. But the green, I didn't entirely do that. You see, what I did is I actually said, okay, can I get any color pictures of old-timey battleships that would have been from this time? Forgive me while I turn off the compressor. And I was able to. And it was like a Japanese ship. I was like, okay, why is this? Why is this? Come to find out, the Brits built some of Japan's ships way back in the early 1900s. So I was like, oh, they'd probably build them pretty similar to how they built their own. And the ship interior I saw was this kind of greenish color. I guess it makes sense. Like everything, like the internals of a lot of things are green, actually, now that I think about it. Cadmium. I think it was a cadmium green. Yeah, you think about it. That makes a lot of sense, because you're in a saltwater environment, you want to minimize the corrosion. Huh. I'll have to look that up now. Maybe. I don't know. But now I have to ask the question, what did their engine rooms look like? Because, well, this thing looks okay in silver. I'd really like it to look like it actually had all those horses, you know? Like, as close as I can to accurate, the better. Speaking of accurate, I'm still not entirely sure if I want to artistically license these coal bunkers or actually do it, like, to the most accurate that I could. Because to do that would require that these side guys actually be cut down to, like, just walls, from what I can tell. Because the way the book portrays it, it's as if it was actually like that. Like, it was the coal bunkers were a solid thing, went all the way up the side of the ship, and there's maybe a couple of places where coal would be, like, scattered to make a hole for the guys to dig it out or something. I honestly don't know. And then that would explain, like, the coal trunks, I guess, or something, or escape trunks, I guess, that they call them, where you had these, like, apparent, from what I could read of the print, pathways leading up from the bottom of the ship going up. But that's enough technical jargon for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually try and look up and see if I can't get a picture of these old-timey engine rooms before I make something totally inappropriate. Because I'm wondering what I can get away with painting brass to add some liveliness to this, you know, piece of the diorama. Or, I guess it is kind of a diorama now, but model nonetheless. Alright. Alright, so here I am, just beginning to paint the floors green. And I try to get that, again, that nice kind of chromate color. I've been doing that just by mixing some yellow and some green to try to get about the right, you know, shade. Gotta be honest, I gotta find some kind of more consistent chromate color so that I don't have to keep mixing it and then getting all this inconsistency I get with all my fun military things that I'm painting. So yeah, been a while since I've been trying to edit this video, so it might be a little disjoint in the audio versus what I talked about in the previous part. Reason for that is I had a nice thing of this recorded, ready to go, and it just broke on me. Just like the phone decided not to be a good voice recorder anymore. I gotta get a better setup. That's neither here nor there. So as you can see, yep, I'm just painting everything the green color, several layers, try to cover up that metallic. Yeah, painting over metallic can be a bit of a pain, just because that, you know, glint is going to show through a couple layers, I find. Not all the time, but, you know, especially if you thin your paints like I do, like you're supposed to, it's a thing. And there I am deciding that either I need to increase the amount of paint, or I need to just maybe yellow things up or something. Or maybe just finding more things that need paint on them. So I'm not going to paint the coal bunkers because that's a kind of a waste of time if you think about it, because you got all that, you know, free floating coal in there bumping up against the walls and anything. So if there's paint there, you're going to have a bad time. I mentioned this later, I think, in the next regular speed section. So there I am, hemming and hawing. Probably pouring myself a nice cup of scotch. And here we go again, just quite merrily painting the walls now. Before getting to other parts of the whole setup. So here, I'm applying some glue for some reason. I'm wondering why. I bet, yeah, oh, okay, never mind. I thought I was applying glue, I guess not. But there I am now, I'm painting the outsides of the turbines white. That's because you would want those insulated, and I thought I saw some pictures online with turbine rooms that had the machinery white, and I think I can guess why. Because white is a really insulating color, and you would want to insulate the turbines. Because whenever you're doing like thermodynamic calculations, it's often an assumption that you're dealing with what's called an adiabatic, if I remember right, turbine. And that means that there's no heat going out of it, that all the change in energy of the fluid going through it is going into, you could safely assume, to an extent, is spinning those blades. I'm sure that there's, it's not quite how it goes, but that's sort of what you're doing there. And here what I'm doing now is trying to paint those other tubes. Those have been steam tubes to come out of the end, gold. Just because I figured gold was a nice color. Those would probably have been insulated too. Not 100% sure, but that's what I'd guess. Just trying to add, a little creative license to make things pop a little more. And here I go painting some sections darker silver just to kind of, get a better look in my opinion. I thought I had it dark enough. I guess I decided I didn't really like the lack of apparent darkness there. The other little things you might see, and I'll mention them in the next thing, is there's those little slightly raised looking pieces on one of the kind of plastic crossways I added. I did that because there's some control panels there on the plan that I wanted to have essentially ready to have people at them. Again, if we're going to add a interior to this model, I might as well get to the point where I've got people manning controls and doing stuff, not just loafing around. So there again, we're going. I think there I'm probably trying to get some areas in between the turbines, and now just to get a bit more hemming and hawing. So a little late in this film for this, but sorry that this took so long to get out. I moved, as y'all probably guessed by now. I thought that this was actually going to take a bit longer to get newer content out. It may still, it may not, and I've just it's been a fun month. So here I am cutting out more of the photo etch bins that I had made. Again, I'm just using the tweezers to fold them up. And there I am putting everything together. Looking over some plans, making sure I'm going to put these things in the right places. And then painting over some of the bits of this shell bin here. You'll notice that I don't prime it this time. I'm relying on the thickness of the paint to really serve as the base coat for any other layers of paint. This is not the best way to go about it. I know that there's going to be some kind of metal primer products, but I figured it's quick, it's easy. Guess a little easier than this camera at the moment because it fuzzed out. There we go. Now we're back. And yeah, that it would lead to acceptable results. Yeah. So now I'm just digging out the super glue, and while I repeat these steps, I guess I'll give you more of the explanation as to why this took so long to make. So first, it took a few days to unpack. Obviously, I did this about the very end of May, 1st of June. I'm like, okay, great. Now let's get the computer set up. And the computer didn't work out of the box. I'm like, great, what's going on? So I call a friend, and he says, hey, essentially pull the plug on the motherboard out and put it back in for the power supply. So I do that, and hooray, it seems to fix the problem. Then a couple days ago, it up and died on my son, and I'm like, great. I tried turning it back on and off, nothing, zilch. So I go and I order a power supply off of Newegg thinking that this is the problem, right? Only the power supply has not arrived here yet. I don't know what's going on at this point. Maybe I should just replace this power supply anyway. But, yeah, it seems that this whole computer station got nudged just enough to knock its plug out of the wall, which is just... no more. Damn it, 2020, stop screwing with me. Seriously, and if there's any fans of the Evangelion anime in the house, I'm expecting Kamsuser Todd to start playing any time now. Enough of that obscure and silly anime reference. So yep, now I'm cutting out some more stuff. Yep, another box. We got maybe a minute or two, just about a minute before I start talking about more of this stuff at normal speed. And again, just the light paint. Trying to use that nice looped super glue applicator tool and finding a way to kind of make it work. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad tool. It really isn't. I got to learn to use it better, or I'm being too gentle. There we go. More fuzziness on the camera end. I'm hoping that when I start using the wife's camera, because, yeah, it's its own bits of fun, that I'll get better results. But, I wouldn't cross your fingers for too long. Other than that, yeah, so a lot of fun trying to get this video out, and then, well, I guess I really jinxed myself, because previously filming, and I kind of covered up at the end of this editing session, I said that I wasn't expecting to get new content out till maybe beginning of July. Hopefully, this does not prove true, and that those remarks will have aged poorly. But I'm still editing this film, if you can't tell, so we shall see. Yep, there I am, just putting in more of the pieces for the shell bins, and I think I'm about to talk about what I did, so I'm going to cut out right about here. Alright, so, after a little bit of painting, what I tried to do for these shell bins, you notice that I didn't prime them before painting them. I tried a slightly thicker paint mix going for about 2/3 paint to 1/3 water, and that seemed to work reasonably well coverage-wise. I'll wake up you. So yeah, there's the shell bins. Be doing another set soon enough, and then try to populate some of this area with people. All the fun I could have with paint in some of this area over here. I have enough room. But we'll see. Alright, back to painting, I guess. Boom! Another recording session. Hooray, yippee, yippo, yippee. So, there I am, just cutting out people now, I believe. Maybe not. No, it looks like it's another shell bin. But I do cut, I believe it's in this or one of the next sections, I do cut out people to add. So, yeah. I've got to do more stuff with photo etching, too. I'm going to need more photo etched bits for bins, or stairs, or people, or benches, or shelves, or other whatchamahoos. It's using the super glue again to try to get a nice little bead for it to hold. I'm hoping this time it does hold. Yes, it does. So yeah, and putting all the nice shell bins into that room and covering up bits on the turbines there. And yeah, so anyways, I think in the did in the intro, as you saw, I showed you some of the shop as it stands right now. And well, because I ended up without this computer, I ended up deciding to break out a B-17 bomber that we're sort of poking as a side project. But now that I got this computer back up and apparently running, I'm hoping that maybe I'll be able to actually start properly filming the Dreadnought again, which is what I really like, because that's a lot of fun. Not to knock the old American warhorse, but yeah, I like to do one thing at a time when I can. I mean, unless y'all want me to do the B-17, I guess you always comment, variety is nice or something, just to let me know, yeah, do more of the B-17 as well, and then, yeah, sure, why not? Alrighty. So, yep, there I am, putting in more of the bins. I'm using the, so I'm folding up the bins with the wide flat tweezers, but I'm trying to put them in using the super glue, little dab of super glue on the bottom of them, and the little thin needle tweezers that I got. And the reason I do that is just so I can more precisely manipulate that small thing. You'll also notice I go to the inside of these bins with the small point tweezers. I do that just to because it was an easier hold, and it was just a lot easier for me to control. Rather than, say, grabbing one wall and endangering that paint job, by grabbing on the inside, I was able to place it down, have some nice painting going on it, and then paint the inside thereafter and keep everything reasonably neat looking. Unlike my hair, which is in the top of this screen. Is this it? Is this where I start adding people? Maybe. It looks like it. Yep, there I go. Cut some people out and start adding. Not sure if I add the officer first or if I add the two. I guess I'm adding the two guys at the controls first. I'll probably mention this briefly in the next regular motion set, but from what I could tell of the uniforms that these guys wore, like the blue fabric that I'm putting on now is one of the lower ranking guys, like more one of the enlisted, not one of the officer corps. And versus a black uniform would be indicative of, somebody who would become an officer or, someone who had connections. we all know what life was like back at the turn of the 1900s. People were not as meritocratic or as, I don't want to say sensitive, but educated on sensitivity, we could say, as they are now. Yeah, so we'll just leave that at that and poke that bear once again and then calmly run away screaming. So here we are. I got one guy down, and I think it's one guy down. And now I'm going to go add another. I may or may not add the officer that goes between the two, directing them, but let's see if I do that or don't. We'll assume I don't, but you never know. So I guess I'm cutting some things apart just to get things more flexible. Yeah, so definitely having some fun with these photo etching escapades. I gotta get more kit for that to do a really good job on it if I want it to, come out really nice. I mean, the photo mask I made is not bad, but there is the point of, it's like you want it to come out better than it does. You know what I mean? So, but I'll keep learning, and eventually I'll get the hang of it. I've gotten better at it. Actually gained a lot of nice skills for this during this project, which is good because next one is probably going to be the Bismarck if it's not the B-17. Just to get the B-17 off of out of my hair. We'll see. Yep, there I go, digging this out again. I'm just using a scalpel to dig out that spaces between the two little, I guess you could say, fork ends there. And then trying to use just some bits of super glue in places to make everything stick in the right position. Yeah, not the easiest thing to convince super glue to do what it's supposed to. I mean, a brush would be a much better way to do it, but then I'd have to deal with destroying a brush. So there I am painting those two guys at the control panels blue. And either this is another guy running across one of the causeways, or this is a officer between the two of them telling them what to do. Looks like I'm almost at the point where I go back to regular motion. Alright, so I'll paint this guy up black, I'll put him down, and that'll be the end of this time lapse. Enjoy. Alright. That was quite a bit of painting for, well, very few things added, but they're important little details. So, you get the shell bins here for the actual big, scary-ass bullets that these guns fire, but then you look here, if it'll show you. So, according to my plan, I put these little angled cutouts of plastic that are angled to look like control panels, because that's what they are, right where the things that would have controlled the speed of each set of turbines would be. They looked like a set of valves on the print. And they got two little guys of, they're in blue, which I'm thinking represented the lower, lower ranks, like, people that just showed up and said, "Give me a job, Uncle." Well, it's not Uncle Sam, but whoever it is in Great Britain. Maybe King, whoever it was. And then an officer in the middle to direct them so far. This is coming along quite nicely. Alright. Back to time-lapse and me working on this. And working away. So now I am adding a few more little details. I think what I'm just doing is trying to get the some of the silver things, slightly different silver colors, getting to pop more from each other. This must be the where I put that guy I mentioned that I have running across the causeway, trying to do stuff. I may or may not add a few more guys in the next installment to this floor. I do plant the seeds for one more little detail, as you'll see towards the end. I think I describe it, what I'm planning when I brush it on there. Something or someone is going to go somewhere. Anyways, so there I am, looking at, can I add more people, wondering if I can fit people in. And now I am painting what is a red and then yellow thing to represent the door of a coal boiler being opened up. So I think I've just let the cat out of the bag. Something or someone is going into that boiler. I mean, you might as well have a little fun with it, right? I mean, I can see it happening once, maybe. Maybe not. Hopefully not, but you never know. Alright, and that's just about the end of this time-lapse segment. I'm going to leave it here. Alright, so figured I'd have some people shoving something or someone into a boiler. Set the kind of engine manning crew here, including a guy running there. And then I ran out. I realized I did not have Elmer's glue to make the coal things to, kind of fill in this bunkers here. And I could have turned that into coal with black paint, but no Elmer's glue, no scenic bits turned into coal. And there's another reason I'm going to end it here. So, as I'm pretty sure I mentioned at this point, I'm moving. Yay! And by yay, I mean, oh, thank God, a bigger place with a kitchen that's organized. Just everything is going to be so much better, and I'm sure I want to think what a naive fool I was for putting this on YouTube when something doesn't work. But it is a much, much, much better place than here. Not to knock this place too hard, but, well, we just straight up don't have the room. And this is the part where I go on a little rant about how long everything is going to take, which I think I've hinted at is aged poorly at this point, because I am now in the new shop. This may have also been where I thought I jinxed myself by saying it'd be July. Hopefully the jinx is gone. Alright, till next time, peace out.